Keep that energy up, or keep that energy medium for Linda Ray.
Okay, you gotta take the microphone also, okay?
Hi, you guys. Show me those feet. All right, stick them out where I can see them. I want to see feet. I've been seeing talking heads for months. This is joy, you guys. You know, is anybody, am I the only one that's always on mute on Zoom? Is anybody here? You know, I think it's just that I love having people wait around for me to say something interesting. Thanks for being here. Now listen, something interesting. How about if I tell you a story? Okay, I'm good at bedtime stories. Actually, I just wanted to ask you, did anyone see Amazon Prime's remake of the Cinderella story? Oh, don't bother, it just so sucks. I mean, they really, you know, they're championing feminism by giving her a job as a 15th century seamstress. And that's about it. I mean, that and the fact that Billy Porter, do you all know Billy Porter? The best fairy in the world. He's awesome. I mean, he's almost worth it to watch it yourself. But I was thinking, you know, it got me thinking, how could I do a better job? Cinderella meant so much to me. But anyway, you might want something to pitch to Disney. So how could I do a better job? Let's see if this works for you, because I see how many stereotypes I can just lay low. Okay. Okay, we open with Ella sitting in her home office. Ella has a startup company that does hearth cleaning and fireplace remodeling, and guess what she calls it? Oh, come on. Cinderella. Okay, so Cinderella's a big sign over the back door to the downstairs, to the basement, to the home office. And so one day she's doing spreadsheets or some business stuff, and her two fun-loving stepsisters come flying down the stairs with a great idea and a hot tip. They have learned that the palace is taking bids on a makeover for the whole hearth and fireplace system in the palace, and every hearth repair person in the country is putting in bids. So they hatch a plan to get Cinderella inside the castle so she can make some plans, you know, some drawings, get measurements and stuff. As it happens, there's a royal ball this coming Saturday. What luck, but oh, poor Cinderella's been so busy working, she never got a ball gown. Now this is the point at which you'd want Billy Porter to come in. You gotta see it just to see him, but no, let's see how many more stereotypes we can knock down. So in comes her caring, can-do, golden-hearted stepmom with her own vintage Balenciaga ball gown. It's royal blue moire, it's 80s vintage, so it's got those big puffy sleeves, and, you know, acres of skirt, and it's perfect. It's the perfect thing. So Saturday comes, they're all getting ready for the ball. Oh my God, Cinderella finds one of her glass slippers has broken. Fortunately, she's a very clever girl. She runs to the pantry and gets saran wrap and fashions for herself a pair of Salvatore Ferragamo ballet flats, you know, a la Audrey Hepburn. And they're all out of saran wrap. And the stepsisters rummage through the family junk drawer and come back with a bunch of Rapunzel stickers. And they use those to stick the shoes together, and they all think they look great. And they take off in Mom's bright orange, sparkly Cadillac convertible that she won for selling Mary Kay cosmetics. So they go to the ball, they get there, Cinderella runs in, or Ella, her company's name is Cinderella. Ella runs in, starts taking measurements, making notes, sketching elevations and all that stuff, and oh my, all of a sudden she remembers she has a 6 to 8 a.m. Zoom call about the castlecode.com communications headquarters. She races for the door, and the stepsisters intercept her long enough to introduce her to the prince and the prince's fiancé, in whom the ball is there in their honor. everyone has a good laugh, especially about the shoes. Everyone notices what a clever girl this Ella is. And she says, gotta bounce. Needless to say, she wins the contract because she's so smart and she does such a good job, and clever, clever girl. But even better than that, she wins the whole design and build contract for a brand new palace that the prince is building for his new husband. The end, and everyone lives happily ever after, right? Yay, yay. Yeah, so that's a good story. You know, it's been fascinating to me in a lot of these Zoom classes I take with what people call millennials, you know, people in their 20s. My granddaughter is 24, and it's lovely to me how familiar and cool those younger people seem to be about gender fluidity, or, you know, one or the other. My pronouns are she, her. I learned that on Zoom. But for instance, my granddaughter and I went for lunch. I took her to lunch the other day, and we got stuck in traffic on Broadway. Of course, don't drive on Broadway. We got stuck in traffic, and I noticed I looked over and noticed she's typing like she's really mad something, or whatever it is. She's real focused on it, and I don't want to intrude, but I just kind of look over and say, "Day trading, sweetheart?" She goes, "No, it's just this guy. He says I can't be asexual." Okay, I'm thinking to myself, this is pretty cool. We have not had this conversation. Is this her way of letting me know she's non-binary, and how easy could it possibly be, you know? That's pretty cool. So we're driving 2 stoplights later. She's still furiously texting. She says, "He says I have to like either boys or girls." Okay, I don't want to be insensitive, but at this point, I said to her what I think any grandmother would in my position. "Sweetheart, could you tell him to fucking Google it? This is grandma time." It's crazy, crazy time. You know, but she does have boundaries. Here's what I found out. I was telling her how when I was growing up, you know, we were all supposed to be virgins when we got married, blah, blah. Girls didn't think much about sex, and I never thought about sex with a girl at all. But I never thought about sex with a boy either, you know. I said, in fact, you know, I have to tell you, Jordan, I think I didn't have my first orgasm until it was more than a year after I left your grandfather. She said, "Grandma, that's too much information." Okay, so now we know where the boundaries are. But you know, it turns out I really, really like sex with men. I do. I like it a lot. The sad thing is, I am so old, I'm still looking for Prince Charming. You know, that's how old-fashioned I am. It's a shame. But so my friend Eloise and I signed up for a dating service. This sounds like fun. Okay, maybe some of you have signed up for a dating service. It's called Our Time. My friend who's a comedian, Mo Urban, she says they should call it Out of Time. To which I say, "Oh, really?" Okay. But, you know, if you've signed up for a dating service, you know, they ask some pretty intrusive questions. They have this long questionnaire that you have to fill out. And the one that really stumped me was, "Would you have sex on the first date?" Anybody want to tackle that? My immediate response was, "Oh my God, somebody's going to see me in my underwear." It's a terrible thing to think about that. Like, so what do I have to do? Maybe get a thong or Spanx, you know? I mean, at least I don't have to worry that my answer is depends. At least not yet. So it was a provocative question, to say the least, and it got me thinking, you know, it's been a minute. Maybe I ought to bone up on it, as it were. So I got us a book. I got us a book called How to Make Love Like a Porn Star. It's written by Jenna Jameson. Does anybody know who Jenna Jameson is? You don't have to reveal that to the person sitting next to you as a significant other. But Jenna Jameson was a very famous porn star, and she wrote a book called How to Make Love Like a Porn Star. Okay, so I read it, at least all the good parts, and there weren't a lot of pictures. But I have to tell you the takeaway. It's her job, to be a porn star. She makes it sound like a lot of work. I have to tell you that. Now, I've been retired for 15 years, and I think I want to make love more like a Mediterranean cruise. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I get that, My granddaughter was a stripper. I'm totally down with the sex industry. It's just, I'm retired. Yeah, so anyway, it didn't matter because we never got a date, and neither of us ever got a date. Louise says she thinks she has it figured out. She said, you know what? I know what the problem is, she says. It's our self-image. You get old and you don't feel like you have a good self-image, she says. We're all like, I'm thinking, that's a good image, Louise. She says, we're like that big floppy balloon at the used car lot. We're all flopping when we want to pop. And I'm not just talking about the men, she says. So, okay, well, I guess that's the answer. Flopping. Yeah, so I don't know how it is that I keep talking about underwear, but we're back to it because that reminds me of my daughter. Are you familiar with Marie Kondo and tidying up and all that stuff? Okay, my daughter got really into that stuff, and it was so cool and sweet. She came over one day. We helped me sort my joy, and it was a lovely day. And I think I was folding my socks in thirds, and she called from across the room. She said, Mom! Well, not quite like that. It was more like, Mom! And I looked over, and she was in my lingerie drawer. And she said, Mom, this is awful. How can you even wear this stuff? You need all new underwear. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong, but for context, I want to point out that she wears her underwear until her boyfriend gets tired of it. I wear mine until it wears out. I mean, I get those 10% coupons from Victoria's Secret in my email all the time, but it's off a $100 bra. I am frugal AF, So I walked over to her and I said, sweetheart, let's do this. Can you just do your Marie Kondo thing, maybe organize them chromatically, like dingier to not as dingy. And then it'll be just like tree rings, That'll totally work. And she said, okay, but the whole time I was thinking, thank God I found a better place for my vibrator before she came over, I know a lot of people are surprised, know that your grandmother probably uses a vibrator, but you know how I know that nobody thinks that? Is when I open up the use and care instructions, and I have to use my self-illuminating magnifying glass to read them. And the first line is, tell me what you think of this. The first line is, do not overuse the vibrator. Now, doesn't that sound judgy to you? Bye, everybody. Love you. Thanks.